Hello, this is Wmpyr here with a crazy video. Finally, I'm talking about the flat earth. Oh my goodness, the flat earth theorists. Before I get into that, let me do some shout outs real quick, okay? XDM50, the VidKid67, and Wushu Richard. These three gentlemen have already made a video on the flat earth subjects, and I've watched their videos on it, and I've also watched the flat earth theorists, their point of view and stuff like that. And one more person I like to mention is Joe Volcanic from Volcanic's Playground. This is right up his alley, so I had to throw him in the mix right there. So, you know, this is all you guys' fault or whatever. Now I'm in the mix too. Alright, so anyway, here to share basically my 2 cents on the flat earth theory. Okay, so, oh man, where do I begin with? Okay, so first of all, if you've actually seen videos on people talking about the flat earth and they're like defending it, you know, and they're saying why it makes sense to them and their explanation of it and stuff like that. If you've watched videos on that, I have to admit that it makes sense to me. What they're saying sounds pretty convincing. It really does, you know. But that really doesn't mean anything because, you know, the interesting point that I like to bring at this point is that the people that say that the earth is a sphere, right, which is probably the most of us, and that's how we're taught in school since grade school, that pretty much that's the way it is and you accept it and that's how you learn it, and you know, in the textbooks and stuff and all that, right? The explanations there, yeah, they don't make sense to me. I don't get it. You know, you have to be like a scientist, I guess, to understand that stuff, you know. But that doesn't make it wrong. And what the flat earth theorists are saying, that makes sense to me, doesn't make it right. And a very simple example I could give you is, for example, computer, TV, cell phone, all these things, I don't get it. I've had very smart people, you know, borderline scientists, and people like that explain it to me, you know, how a TV works. I don't get it. I still don't get it. I could look it up on, you know, on the internet and try to read up on it. I don't get it at all, okay? Radio waves, microwaves, none of that stuff makes sense to me. And I don't think I'm an idiot, but I don't think I'm in the scientist level of smartness to understand that, or, you know, just at that level of smartness. So if I was teleported back in time, and you know, the first thing that a king is going to say to me is like, okay, so you claim to be from the future, prove it. I can't. I just have a bunch of crazy stories, you know, and my crazy stories, you know, if they ask me, okay, so you're talking about these things called a cell phone and it's extremely useful, make one. I can't even make a walkie-talkie, you know. I can't even make a brick phone or even a telephone. I don't know how to make that, you know. Give me one of those a styrofoam cup and a string, and I can do that, you know. And another I could do something like that, but that's really about it. And you know, even a styrofoam cup you're not going to find back then. So I guess I am completely screwed at that point. So yeah, so that's just a quick point that I want to make, all right? The next thing that I want to say is, okay, so we have the flat earth people saying the earth is flat, and then we have the you know, the majority of the people saying the earth is a sphere. Come on. The reason, the thing I have to go into is the reason. Why are we having this argument? You know, what for? And usually when we go into motives and stuff like that, to me it's all about money. You know, it almost always comes down to money. So if it's going to come down to money, then I kind of feel like, all right, way back when, the flat earth idea is supposed to come from religion, essentially. So is this a religion versus science thing? That's actually, is that what's underlying here? I'm trying to read behind the lines here. I'm trying to figure out what is the deeper thing that's going on with this argument. So is it religion versus science? Is that what this is really about? And if so, then why are we having this fight? Way back when, historically, religion was very powerful, making a ton of money. Actually, today they're still making a ton of money. Science wasn't really predominant back then. It wasn't even accepted. But then at some point, it has become very, very predominant, and scientists today are making a ton of money, right? So you have religion people making a ton of money, science people making a ton of money. You can easily see that one group or the other is going, I want their profits, So the religion people are going, I want all that the scientists are making. You can see the science people going to the religion people, you guys are crazy. I should be getting all that money here, So maybe that's what this is about. I don't know, And if that's what this is really about, then their arguments from either side doesn't really matter, right? Okay, so for my next point, let's say the flat Earth theorists are correct, and the Earth really is flat, right? All right, the Earth is not a sphere; it's completely flat. You know what? It really doesn't affect me. I'm not a global person. Like I don't do anything that's really seriously global, except for when I fly to Japan, or maybe if I fly to the UK, and that's really about it. And other than that, I really don't see any of it affecting me directly, or anything that I could really do about it, and that's that. I'm not saying that that's going to make it right, but there's other fish to fry, should I say, other things to be more concerned about. It really doesn't change anything for me. Now, the one thing that it does affect is what these people are saying is that, okay, so the Earth is flat, therefore the scientists, the government, they're all lying to you. And man, if that's the case, the first thing that my red light goes off and goes, really? Really? That's an extremely elaborate hoax. I mean, I guess it's possible, but it's like, wow. Are we that far away from the knowledge that we're like, yes, I understand that the public's probably sheep and we get manipulated a lot, but man, it's like, are we that far under? And Big Brother and all that is like so controlling and so powerful that they could pull off a hoax of this level. And if so, what for? Are they benefiting from it? I mean, what is the benefit to tell us and keep this hoax going, and to say that the Earth is a sphere when it really isn't? Like I said, it doesn't even affect me. So how can they benefit from it? I really don't see one way or the other, whether the Earth is flat or the Earth is sphere. It doesn't really affect me. I don't see how it makes them a ton of money. So, I kind of, it's just a red flag goes up right there, So I have an acquaintance who works at NASA. She's in charge of one of their space programs, so she's kind of high up there. And she went to university with my sister. I tried to hook her up with one of my friends, because she was lonely and wanted to go out on a date and stuff like that. And she's just a nerdy regular girl, and I can't imagine her to be this malicious, trying to be deceptive and manipulative towards the general public. And I just can't imagine that. And like I said, she's pretty high up, so I can't see how she would not be involved in this if she was part of all that. I guess it's possible that she's not high up enough to be involved in the know. That is possible, but I just don't. More than likely she would be involved if she was, and if so, she's not that kind of person. So I just don't see it. I really don't. It's too elaborate of a hoax. I think it's to make this hoax happen would take way too much energy and effort that I don't think it would be worth it. So it's hard for me to kind of to believe I'm still open to it, to the possibility, but it's kind of hard for me to definitely swallow it, just because of some of these things that I'm saying here. But okay, so last but not least, one more thing I kind of want to leave you guys with. So me personally, my general idea is I am not leaning towards the flat Earth conspiracy theorist. Sorry about that. I'm not. I come more from the skeptical point of view, and it just doesn't add up to me. But I am open to the idea. And if the flat Earth idea, the theory, does come from a religious background, then I think it doesn't need to be grounded in science, because religion is a different thing. Religion is a guide to help you live your life better, in my opinion. So, of course, with that comes the pursuit of truth, for sure. But it's not the most predominant thing. The most predominant thing is to make your life better, but being spiritual, being helpful towards others, and those kinds of things, doing the right thing, moral and ethical, and along those paths. So that is placed more important. So if the flat Earth theory does help you and make your daily life a better life, then more power to you. Then that's good. Okay. Now, let's take a look at science, right? So if you look at it from a science perspective, if what we understand so far is, let's say, fact. Let's say we did a really, really good job and it's actual fact, right? Then maybe the fact is like this much, and there's all this that's unknown. So like, let's say we understand 5% of the whole, and we don't understand 95% of the rest of the picture. Then what we know is so insignificant that, does it even matter? At this point, we can't be going, well, what we do is the truth, what you do is false. I mean, because if we only know 5%, it's almost like, well, we really don't know anything at all. So does it really matter that much? So that's just one thing I like for you guys to think. And also, at the end of the day, if we only did things just by science, right, then we would probably be doing extremely horrible experiments to each other in the name of science. So at the end of the day, science has to be checked, or has to be governed by moral and ethics. That has to come in and go, hey, science, hold on a second. You can't pass this boundary. So it needs to be checked like that, And so what is religion? Religion is something that is supposed to, it's been manipulated and abused big time by evil people and stuff, but it's supposed to have a lot of the morals and ethics, and once again, it's supposed to be a spiritual path, right? So, so in my book, I kind of feel like I'm taking the same page from my martial arts training, is that both perspectives do exist, whether we like it or not. There's religious people out there, and there's scientific people out there. I don't see why you can't use both. At the end of the day, we are pretty insignificant, and in the grand scheme of things, we're small. So in that sense, we're just trying to live a better life, trying to help others, so why not, cooperate? That's the viewpoint that I look at. Same with martial arts. I can't study every martial arts style out there, but I can be open to every style. So that's all I want to say for now. Thank you for listening, and take care, folks.